It is April 1945. Europe is burning. The Third Reich, once stretching from the Atlantic to the Volga, is collapsing in flames and blood. Allied armies close in from the west, while the Red Army surges from the east, crushing everything in its path. Amid the chaos of defeat, one of history's most enduring legends begins to take shape. A legend of gold, stolen art, and a secret train that vanished beneath the mountains of southern Poland. This is the story of Hitler's train of gold, the so-called Nazi gold train, a lost treasure that has haunted historians, treasure hunters, and dreamers for nearly 80 years. The story begins in the waning months of World War II, when Nazi Germany's once mighty war machine was reduced to a desperate retreat. The cities of Breslau, Dresden, and Berlin lay in ruins. The Red Army was advancing with unstoppable force, seizing everything in its path. The Nazi leadership, realizing the end was near, began frantically moving their wealth, art, and stolen treasure out of danger. Under orders from senior SS officers, convoys of trucks, trains, and guarded transports began removing tons of gold, silver, and looted artwork from banks, museums, and concentration camps. These treasures had been seized from across occupied Europe, from the vaults of Paris, the castles of Austria, and the homes of Jewish families who would never return. Some of these shipments were meant to fund Germany's mythical Last Stand. Others were intended to secure the escape of Nazi elites who planned to disappear after the war. And one of these shipments, according to countless reports and testimonies, was loaded onto a heavily armored train that departed from Breslau, now Wrocław, Poland, bound for the mountain tunnels near the town of Wałbrzych. This train was said to carry hundreds of tons of gold bullion, priceless art, and crates of jewelry. Witnesses claimed it was more than a kilometer long, heavily guarded, and sealed by the SS. It was the last desperate attempt of the collapsing Reich to hide its stolen fortune from the advancing Soviets. But somewhere between Breslau and Wałbrzych, the train and everyone on board vanished. In the decades that followed, rumors spread through Europe like wildfire. Some said the train had been hidden in a secret tunnel beneath the Owl Mountains, part of a massive underground complex built by forced laborers under Project Reese, a secret Nazi construction program designed to house underground factories, command bunkers, and possibly even Hitler's final headquarters. Others believed the train had been destroyed by Allied bombings or buried intentionally by SS engineers, who later took their own lives to keep its location secret. Whatever the truth, no one ever found the train. But the legend refused to die. After the war, the Soviets scoured Lower Silesia for Nazi treasure. They found bunkers filled with weapons and documents, but no gold. The Polish government conducted its own searches throughout the Cold War, sealing many tunnels and railway lines believed to be booby-trapped. Locals whispered of ghost trains heard echoing beneath the mountains on quiet nights, the metallic groan of iron wheels turning somewhere deep underground. The story resurfaced again in the 1990s after the fall of the Iron Curtain, when treasure hunters from around the world descended on the forests near Wałbrzych, armed with metal detectors, ground scanners, and legends. For decades, the Nazi gold train remained Poland's greatest modern mystery, a tale balancing between documented history and conspiracy. Then, in 2015, the legend exploded into global headlines. Two men, Piotr Koper, a Polish construction worker, and Andreas Richter, a German treasure hunter, announced that they had discovered the exact location of the Nazi gold train. Using ground-penetrating radar near a railway embankment close to the village of Wabzik, they claimed to have detected a long metallic object buried deep underground. Consistent, they said, with a train. Local authorities, fueled by curiosity and caution, cordoned off the area. The Polish military even sent engineers to check for explosives. For a brief, electrifying moment, it seemed that history's greatest lost treasure might finally be found. Reporters flocked to the site. Experts debated the evidence. Some speculated that the radar images showed a tunnel, others, a geological formation. But as excavations began, the dream began to fade. When the digging finally reached the supposed location, there was no train, no gold, no crates of Nazi plunder, only sand, rock, and silence. Skeptics claimed the discovery had been a misunderstanding or even a publicity stunt. Believers, however, refused to accept defeat. They insisted the train was still there, just deeper underground, buried in sealed tunnels that could not be accessed without risking collapse. To this day, some still claim to know the coordinates, guarded as secret family knowledge passed through generations. To understand why this myth endures, one must look at what the Nazis actually stole. During the war, Germany systematically plundered occupied Europe of its wealth and art. Entire museums were emptied. Gold reserves from multiple nations were looted. Jewish families were stripped of their heirlooms and bank accounts. When historians tallied the losses after the war, billions of dollars worth of treasure were missing. Gold, gems, and artworks that were never recovered. And though much of it was traced and returned, hundreds of tons vanished without a trace. Could some of it truly have been hidden beneath the mountains of Silesia? The region itself was an ideal hiding place. The Owl Mountains, thick with forests and riddled with mines, were already home to secret Nazi installations. Under Project Reese, massive underground tunnels were carved through solid rock by slave laborers from concentration camps. Many of these tunnels were never completed. Some were sealed by explosions as the Soviets advanced. Others remain undiscovered to this day. If a train loaded with treasure needed to disappear, this was the perfect place. Over the years, explorers have descended into these tunnels, vast echoing corridors stretching for miles under the mountains. Many risked their lives navigating the collapsed shafts, armed with flashlights and fading maps. They found remnants of machinery, SS documents, even traces of hidden bunkers, but never the mythical gold train. Still, the silence of those tunnels leaves room for imagination. Deep within the mountain, sealed by concrete and time, the gold of a fallen empire may still sleep in the dark. The legend of Hitler's train of gold is more than a treasure hunt. It is a symbol of greed, power, and the haunting aftermath of war. It reflects humanity's endless fascination with what lies hidden beneath the surface. The idea that somewhere, buried in the earth, there remains a final secret of the Third Reich, untouched since 1945. Whether the train truly exists or not, it has become a story larger than history, a ghost of war that refuses to die. It speaks to the human desire for discovery, for closure, and for the chance to unearth a piece of the past that still glitters beneath the dust of time. Somewhere in the mountains of southern Poland, under layers of earth and memory, the truth still waits. Perhaps the train lies there, its cargo of stolen gold and forgotten sorrow sealed forever in darkness. Or perhaps the gold train was never real, only a story born of chaos, greed, and the fog of a dying empire. But one thing is certain. As long as there are mountains to dig and legends to chase, Hitler's train of gold will continue to move, not through tunnels of iron and stone, but through the imaginations of those who still believe that somewhere, deep beneath the earth, the past is waiting to be found.